What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. I believe we are live inside of the Dietitian Side Hustle group, and we're also live inside of the Business Growth Secrets for Dietitians and Nutrition Coaches group. So happy Monday every single Monday. We are here live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And Katie, I think you're live at what time typically?
I'm live every Monday at 5:30 Eastern Time, but went a little bit later today because I knew we were doing this.
Awesome. So so we're excited to be here together. We're going to talk active and passive income. And for those of you that are jumping on, say hello. Let us know that you're here. Just put a big hello in the chat. We like to know who we're speaking to. And if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and comment replay so we know that you watch this. And yeah, just engage with us. The more you engage, the more you speak to us, the more we feel like we're having a conversation with you. So don't be a creeper and say hello. Awesome. Cool. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Javier Carlin. I'm a physical therapist and the founder of Healthcare Business University. I should say co-founder with my lovely fiance, Marissa Case, who's an RD. And Katie?
My name's Katie Dodd. I run the Dietitian Side Hustle Facebook group, and I work with Javi as well.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit about active and passive income today. And, we get so many questions on this as to, which one should I pursue? Which one should I do first? What's the difference? What passive income opportunities are out there? And, I would say Marissa and myself have definitely been on more of the active income side of things. And Katie's actually, you've done both, and you've done both really, really well. So maybe you can start by letting us know a little bit more about what you do, what you've been able to do, and maybe let's chat a little bit about the differences between passive, quote unquote passive, and active income.
Sure. So I feel like I do a lot of things. I'm sure we'll be talking about multiple streams of income during today's conversation, but I'm a big fan of having multiple streams of income. So money coming from multiple places, both passive and active. So I've been side hustling for a long time before I became a full-time entrepreneur. I started off doing freelance writing, doing webinars, and then I came into the world of blogging, created my own blog, and started my own business. I was able to build my blog, The Geriatric Dietitian, to get really decent amount of traffic to where now I'm making passive income through the blog, and then I make active income through other things that I do on the side through both Dietitian Side Hustle and the Geriatric Dietitian. So I guess to dive into the question of what's the difference between passive income and active income? I like to paint the picture that active income is what we learn in school. It's like how we do traditional work. Think of a 40-hour work week, 40 hours of work for 40 hours of pay. If you're a contractor, maybe you get a gig to write an article, a freelance writing article. Once you write it, you're paid, one and done. That's active income where you are trading your time for money. Passive income. I love passive income. This is where you create something once. You have to create systems to bring people into your world, but then you continue to make money on autopilot. I always like to say that passive income isn't easy peasy. I like to call it money you make in your sleep, which sounds like, oh, you just sleep and you make money. Yes, you do, but it takes a long time to build those systems so that way you have a recurring stream of people coming into your world. The way I make money through blogging is I started off my baby blog. It took me 17 months to build enough traffic to where I could start having ad revenue on my website. That's one of the main ways that I make money. But once I had a good amount of people coming, I could be at home sleeping. I don't have to touch the blog. People are automatically Googling topics related to geriatric nutrition. They're coming to my website. The ads pay me money. They also buy handouts. They buy courses. They buy through my affiliate links. So I'm making money through multiple streams of passive income through the blog. So it took me a lot of time up front to build it. But on the back end, now it's just making money. My blog makes about $4,000 in passive income every month, which is really, really nice to wake up and see oh, I made money and I did no work. Did a lot of work ahead of time. But I will say it just continues to reap dividends day after day, week after week, month after month, and is so amazing. So I love passive income, but it's not easy peasy. It takes a lot of work up front. And oftentimes it takes work without pay, which is why I like multiple streams of income. Because as I was building the blog, I was doing active income where I was trading time for money to get paid in the immediate while I was building my own business because I knew that was going to pay me so much more later, and finally hit that tipping point of, oh, I could do less on the blog and make a lot more. So That was a
Yeah.
lot, but that's my blurb.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That paints a really good picture as to what the differences are. Does anyone have any questions about those differences or anything that Katie just mentioned? And Katie, I guess one of my big questions is, I don't know if this is something that you've realized as you've been building more of the passive income streams, but because you mentioned like you make money while you sleep technically. So have you realized a correlation between more sleep, more money, or is that not a thing?
It's not a thing.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna go sleep to make some money. But it is cool though. I will say, like, I'll go on a vacation with my family and I'll be like, I feel like I do this every time we're on vacation. I tell my husband, because I'll just kind of look at my phone in the evening. I'll tell my husband, I'm like, hey, I made $3,000 today. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't work. So it is something that, it's not just when you sleep, but it's a
Yeah.
good picture to paint.
That's so good. That's so good. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I would say on the active side too, we've built and grown the practices and the online business and all of it. And I think what's so neat about it, and like you said, like the passive side, there's a lot of front end work. And then once you start to build some traction and gain some momentum, a lot of the things that you've already created, people start to purchase or you get ad revenue. There's so many ways
Yep.
to do it, which is so nice. And I know, Katie, you and I talk a lot about the idea of having that system and building that system for yourself, knowing that it's going to take, it could take a few months, maybe a couple years, but is it worth it? 100%, so worth it, right? And then in the meantime, it's like, well, what do we do actively? Where, yeah, you might be trading again some time for money, but at the same time, and maybe you can attest to this too. Like if you build it the right way and you have the right business model, where you transition from one to one, which I always recommend people start there to kind of build a framework and a process around it, but then transition more into the group, hybrid programming and courses and all of that. It really allows you to still scale back your time while making money maybe in, quote unquote, a little bit faster, because it is more of you actively seeking the clientele as opposed to waiting for, I guess, the passive side of things, which you can even accelerate that really if you think about it. You can send
Yeah.
traffic and do all these amazing things, but that kind of answers the question of which one should you do. I think we're both on the same page with that. You do both.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah,
passive income doesn't just have to include, because I do blogging and
yeah.
I talk a lot about blogging, but passive income can even include, as you make money through active income, you take that money and
Mm,
you put it into investments. You could have
yes.
rental properties, you can have, you know, a financial advisor who's really going to help you navigate that. And then you're making money while you sleep too, because your money's working for you. I know one of
Mm,
my business coaches says that your money could be one of your best employees if you put it to work the right way. And so active
yes.
income can be really beneficial to build up that income that you could use to make more money.
I love that. What I'm curious for everyone who's on right now, let us know. Do you have any passive income opportunities that you're currently doing or that you'd like to look into? Anything on the active side? Go ahead and drop those in the chat. Just so everyone's aware, if we're gonna obviously talk about this a little bit more here tonight, but we are hosting an event this weekend. It's called Nutrition BizCon 2022. And we have some amazing speakers. We have Katie Dodd in the house. We've got myself and Marissa. We've got our mutual mentor, Greg Todd, and Tony Steffen, which is really into the passive income on the real estate side.
Mhm.
So if you've ever been interested in learning about how to actually move forward on these different opportunities, these different ideas, and build these different revenue streams, I could honestly say this is probably the best event to be a part of to learn all of that. And we, again, like I said, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we're pretty amazing. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. If that's something that anyone's interested in learning more about, just go ahead and drop the words Nutrition BizCon in the
Okay.
comment section down below, and we'll get you more information on that. Cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the event. It's going to be on Sunday, March 27th, which is perfect for side hustlers who have full-time jobs. So that way you don't have
Yes.
to worry about requesting time off. It is on the weekend. And the nice thing too, and correct me if I'm wrong, Javi, but they will have a week to catch the replay, to where if
Mhm.
maybe they're busy on Sunday and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be there. Or maybe Sunday happens, they're home with kids or whatever, and life gets crazy, they get pulled away. They have a week to catch up on it.
100%, yeah. So you'll have an entire week, and if you do decide, hey, you know what, I want to have lifetime access to this, so I can rewatch it over and over and over again. There is an additional way to actually get lifetime access to the replays, and we also threw in our Irresistible Offers Masterclass as a bonus, so that if anyone is having challenges or wants to learn more about how to program, price, and offer their services, you also get that as well with the lifetime access to the replays. So there's the option for that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see some comments rolling in and some questions. And for those of you who are on, if you have any questions for us, please drop them down. So we have a question. I would love to know if you sell ad space on your blog.
Good question. So how ads work on websites is you work with, I'm forgetting the word, ad networks. An ad network is a middleman. So on one side, you have advertisers. On the other side, you have bloggers. So the ad network is the middleman. So I work with an ad network called Mediavine. They're what we call a high-end ad network. Now there's low-end ones where you could get ads on your website right away, like Google Ads, for example, is one. But the problem with that is that they don't pay you a lot of money, and ads slow down your website. I don't want to get in the weeds about blogging here, but to have a good blog that's going to rank, you need to have a lightning fast blog. So you really want to focus on speed, good quality content, learning search engine optimization. Once you hit a certain threshold of traffic for Mediavine, that's 50,000 people per month coming to your website, then you apply for these ad networks, but the pay is phenomenal. I mean, you can make as much money in 1 month on Mediavine as you will in like 1 or 2 years on Google AdSense. So it's really crazy how much more it is. So I'm not working with individual advertisers. I'm working with an ad network. People always ask too, like, well, do you have control over ads? The way ads work in the current world, it's based on the user. So if I went to my website right now and you went to my website, we'd probably see different ads. Now that might change in the future, but that's really how it works. You can opt out of categories. If you're like, I absolutely don't want this category of ads on my website, you can get those removed. But that's how ads work.
Yeah, that's so cool. Awesome. Let's see. So Kimberly says, my passive income is my book on Amazon, and I need to promote my ebook more on my blog and my self-paced course on my blog. Yeah, totally. So I obviously we don't have time to go too deep into it, Katie, but in terms of, it sounds like something that you do and something you recommend, actually selling products on your blog in addition to the ad revenue is probably the smartest way to go.
Yes, because when people come to the blog, kind of any business in general, people are coming there with problems, and we as dietitians and healthcare professionals can provide solutions. And if we're able to connect the dots between the problem and solution, we can make sales. So on my website, I sell handouts. I actually sell them through rd2rd.com. And actually, this is a great one for dietitians who maybe you have some amazing handouts that you've made and they're just sitting on your computer collecting digital dust. You could literally take those handouts, put them on rd2rd, and you can sell those. Now you're selling them primarily to other dietitians. Tons of people come there, not just dietitians. It's helping the dietitian who doesn't have to reinvent the wheel, and it's helping you because it's your first stream of passive income where you make money every time someone buys it. And you know what? It's already sitting on your computer. Why not having it sit on rd2rd? Now, if you want to have more sales, you do need to market it. But rd2rd is cool because they already have their own audience. I think a lot of people when they're getting started, they're like, I don't have an audience to sell to. That's why I think rd2rd is great, because they have people who go there and they just search because they know it's a great resource. So that could be like an easy peasy way to like create your first stream of passive income today. But I make money through selling handouts. I have a course on my website that I sell. I have, what else? Oh, ebooks. I have 2 e-cookbooks and 1 ebook, and then Amazon affiliates. So if I'll recommend maybe a protein powder and they click on the link, and the cool thing about Amazon affiliates, or Amazon associates, that's their affiliate program, is that if they click on your link, there's some cookies on it. So if they buy within 24 hours, you actually get a commission on everything in their cart. It's a very low percentage commission, but if they decide to buy like a flat screen TV, you get the commission on that, which is kind of cool.
Heck yeah. And for all the dietitians out there, no, they're not chocolate chip cookies. Okay. These are digital cookies that track you. I don't know why they call them cookies, but they sound a lot more like, what's the word? What is the word I'm looking for? Anyway, they sound friendly. Like, oh, they're just cookies. Everyone loves cookies. But that's awesome. So good. Let's see. I think Janet says goal is rental property. Yeah. So
Mm,
rental property is a great way to build that passive income. And I will say this, and obviously we'll have Tony Stefan come in, this weekend and talk about it more in depth. But we have hired coaches who are helping with that specifically. And one of the best ways to make rental properties passive, however, there is a slight fee, is through what they call turnkey providers and turnkey options, which basically becomes turnkey. These companies have property managers that essentially help you with the entire process, and you're hands off. All you provide is the funds to purchase the home, and they take care of the rest. Which that in itself is true passive income, right? Because someone else is taking care of it for you. With that said, there's always going to be pros and cons, so you'll have to do some research on that. And some people recommend it, some don't. But there are ways to go about that, which is really interesting. So that's definitely something in my journey where we actually hired coaches for this specifically. And for our specific scenario, everyone's a little bit different, but for our specific scenario, they actually recommended that we just continue to grow the business up to a certain level. And then once that we've hit that level, then, because in reality, real estate, even though it's passive, it does take a lot of time, energy, and attention to learn the ins and outs so you make the best decisions. So in the beginning, it's actually still like another business. So they basically said, get to this point in your business, then take all that profit and then put it into real estate, because you'll be able to purchase a lot more at the same time and do it in a way where it doesn't take away from the business, but actually compounds over it. And I thought that was pretty good advice. And that's it, and they're the real estate people telling me this. So I was like, oh, that's so awesome that they're recommending that for our personal situation. So everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But just to give everyone some insights on what that could look like for you, there's the top two things that they recommend you put time, energy, attention, and your money into. And it's your business, which is what Katie's talking about now with the passive side and the active side, right? And also real estate. Like those are the top two things that if you put your money and time into, are gonna produce so much for you in yes, profits, but also freedom, flexibility, and really ultimately the life that you want to live. So hope that's helpful to some of you.
Yeah. And I think the freedoms that you talked about, the financial freedom and the time freedom that both passive and active income can provide, can be such a blessing. I mentioned I left my full-time job at the end of 2021, and this is my third month as a full-time entrepreneur. And to have time freedom and financial freedom is like, holy cow, I can't even handle how amazing it is. So it's just, that's why I'm a big fan. Multiple streams of income, passive, active, and then it can open the doors so that way you could be living a life that maybe you never even knew was possible for you.
So good. So good. And if you're interested in finding out more about all the possibilities, and really, I think, it's so amazing to me, because I truly believe that every single one of you has the potential and the abilities to do this. Because at the end of the day, you went through all this education, you went through the traditional school system, you're already working hard, and you've worked hard in the past, and you've done amazing things already. And business, both the active and the passive side, it's just a different skill set. It's a different way of doing things slightly, but we're all capable of learning how to do it, right? And just like before you became a dietitian, a healthcare professional, it was a little bit scary because we just didn't know what was on the other side, right? If you didn't actually go through the schooling and someone said, hey, tomorrow you're going to see your first patient, and you're like an undergrad and you've never even had any education on it or knowledge of it, right? It's going to freak out. You're going to freak out. I don't know what to do. Like, it's going to be super scary. And business is no different in that, you just need, like in school, sometimes a teacher, a guide to show you what's on the other side, to help walk you through it, and to teach you the things that you might not know right now. And once you get some understanding and see how it actually works, and you have a step-by-step process to do so, it becomes a lot less scary and it becomes a lot more possible. And that belief inside of you shoots up significantly, and your life can look so different. And it doesn't take years right, to change? I know for you, Katie, I think it was about a year, or a little bit more maybe?
I would say about 2 years. It was
About 2
about a year
years?
from the time I created my business. No, 2,
Yeah.
1. It's kind of foggy because I kind of look
Oh,
back at my whole career and I almost feel like everything I've done has led me up to this point. But once I
yeah.
really started investing in myself and business coaching and programs and all the things, I would say like a year is when it went gangbusters, and
Yeah.
it happened so fast.
Yeah, which in the grand scheme of things, like compared to the amount of time we spent in school and the amount of time people spend, working a job that they hate, which is typically like
Yeah.
3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, like 2 years to have the freedom and flexibility, is that worth it? I want to ask everyone here, is that worth it? Put a big yes in the chat if it is. And if it's a no, I'm going to ask that question again. Yeah.
I love what you said about how it's not working harder because, like,
Yeah.
everyone listening, you guys all worked so hard to become dietitians, unpaid internships for most of you, and just all the things that we did to get where we are. And I
Yeah.
will say, my shift from being a full time employee to a side hustler to a full time entrepreneur, it wasn't about working harder. It was about learning the skill set and also
Mm.
working on my mindset, like massive, massive shifts in my mindset to recognize that I don't have to hustle and burn myself out. I just have to create systems, surround myself with the right community, learn the right things to do. And I'll tell you, as a full-time entrepreneur, I think I'm working less hard than
Yeah.
what I was before, but I was working pretty hard when everything left at the end. But yeah, it's not about working harder. It's really about working smarter. And you guys, we didn't learn this stuff in school at all. And the day and age that we live in, there are limitless opportunities for us as dietitians online to make massive impact and massive income. And it's like the opportunity's there. We just need to have the tools to get there.
Mm. So good. So good. So, as we wrap up here, does two things. Does anyone have any questions for us on the active income side, the passive income side? I think we gave a few ideas of what both of those can look like, and the idea that having both is important, right? That's the idea of having multiple revenue streams. And I also feel like with the active side, and I really want to challenge everyone to think big here, because I've been talking to actually a few more people the past couple weeks that are thinking bigger and are thinking, you know what? When I do grow my nutrition coaching business, I want to get to the point where I have a team and I have the staff and I have the systems and automations, because I want to be able to help and impact more people. And I think for many of you, that's what you want too, isn't it? To be able to help as many people as possible. And one of the ways you do that is by growing to the point where you have to bring some help on, right? And yeah, is it scary? Again, yes, because it's something you might not have, done before. But that's truly what allows that active income side to become even a little bit less active, because that's when you get into that business owner status where you have team members on your team who are helping you run most of the business, and you essentially see the operations, oversee the marketing, and you're able to pull yourself back even further. And there are people out there that are able to build that and make it 100% passive. Does it take time to get there? Of course. Is it work? Of course. Right. But again, is it worth it? Yes, of course it is. So there's actually ways to set that up for yourself where it does give you even more freedom and flexibility in itself. So that's the beautiful thing about having both of these, is that both of them can get you there, but why not have both? So
Yep.
yeah. Awesome. So yeah, anything else you wanna mention as we wrap up, Katie? I know we've talked
Gosh.
about the event a little bit. Anything else?
Yeah. I just want to send a reminder to people that if you guys want to learn more about Nutrition BizCon, go ahead and comment Nutrition BizCon below, and Javier or myself will reach out to you and make sure you get all the information. It's going to be such an amazing event. Again, a one-day event on the weekend for those of you who have full-time jobs, with a week-long access option to opt in and have lifetime access. It's going to be so amazing, and I cannot wait for this event. It's the first of its kind, and it's going to be so, so good.
Yes, I'm so excited. Awesome. Well, everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. If you have any questions for us, please let us know. As Katie said, drop NBC, like the news station, but better, NBC down below, and we'll get you the details. All right, everyone.
Awesome.
Have a great night. Katie, we'll talk soon.
Bye,
care.
guys.
Bye.